Hello and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today we are going to be talking about the holidays in the empty nest season, and to be specific, we are going to be talking about how to create new empty nest traditions for the holidays. And if you're like me, you remember well how the holidays looked when your children were at home as they were growing up, the different traditions that you had. But this is a new season of life, and so we're going to look ahead at what kind of things we can plan for in the holidays as we have now either some of our kids, most of our kids, or all of our kids out of our homes full time. And if you're an empty nester, maybe for the first time, then you might be looking at these holidays with a mixture of anticipation, of course, as we usually do, but maybe just a little bit of a bittersweet feeling as you are remembering how things used to be and knowing that things are going to look a little bit differently now. And this is a profound shift, but the beautiful part is that this also creates a wonderful opportunity for new things. And we can certainly embrace that attitude as we look forward to how the years going forward are going to look. So we get to kind of redefine how our holidays are going to look and create new meaningful traditions. And that's what we're going to dive into today. But before we jump into some specific ideas, let's talk about the mindset for creating these new traditions. Because a lot of our holidays, if we're honest, have probably been children-centric, focused on them. And now we have time to focus on ourselves and our spouse if we're married. So here are 3 tips to get us started. And the first one is find a new normal schedule. And I know we've all probably heard this before, but you can celebrate Christmas on any day. It does not have to be December the 25th. The same goes for Thanksgiving and for other holidays. If you have adult children either living out of town or maybe visiting other relatives this time of year, you can celebrate on the 23rd, on the 26th, but find a new normal schedule for your family and how that is going to look. And you want to try to accommodate as much as you can, of course, everyone's schedules. And then claim the actual date for yourself. For example, if you know everybody's going to be out of town on Christmas Day, then you and your spouse come up with something that y'all are going to do on that day that it's going to make that's going to make a holiday for the two of you, and plan ahead for that in case there are things you need to buy or something you want to plan for. As soon as you know what everybody else's plans are for the holiday, again, whether it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, then make a plan for yourself, or you and your spouse, you make a plan together of things that you're going to do on the actual date. So number 1, find whatever the new normal schedule is going to look like. And I think we have to hold that loosely because in 2026 and 2027, it may look different than it does now, but go ahead and plan for this year and what the normal is going to look like for this year. And then secondly, focus on quality and not quantity. And this could also be just simplify and maybe downsize decorating. And if you're like me, I don't do a whole lot of decorating for much of any holidays. Christmas would be the one I do the most for. But even that, maybe you want to downsize. If you have a whole bunch of decorations, you don't have to put them all out. You could even give some to maybe your children who have moved out and are starting homes of their own. Let them have some of those decorations to put around their houses. And for me, one thing we're doing a little bit differently this year has to do with our Christmas tree. We do still get a live Christmas tree every year. And for many years, it has been a tradition. We actually go out on Thanksgiving evening, late in the afternoon, early evening, and go to a Christmas tree lot that's not too far, about 15 minutes from our house. And it's beautiful. It's decorated. They have lights up. They have all the trees already set up in stands. And we'd all walk around and choose the one that we wanted. And our younger daughter especially, she really liked getting a larger tree. And so since it's just my husband and I, they're going to be decorating and putting that up this year. We're actually going to go probably for a smaller tree. And maybe to save money, we're going to do what we used to do when we first got married. We would go to occasionally to Walmart and look at their Christmas trees, but usually to Lowe's. And it's a little more work because they're still tied up and you have to untie them and he has to hold them and spin them around. But I think we're going to look at doing that, getting a little bit smaller tree, maybe saving some money on that live tree. So that'll be something a little bit different for us this year. And then secondly, simplify the meal. Again, if it's just you and your spouse or just you, make something smaller. And it doesn't even have to be whatever traditionally you've had. Maybe there's some of your kids' favorites that are a lot of work to make. And so if it's just going to be the two of you for this holiday or just a few of you, you can certainly simplify the meal. And you can even order takeout or something like that if that sounds good to you. And this is a big one, the third one, and that is just communicate and then let go of expectations. Have an open conversation. Talk to your adult children honestly about what holiday plans work best for them, and be willing to be flexible and to let go of the old expectations. And this relieves pressure on them and then lets you go ahead and plan for what the holiday is going to look like for you. And then be gentle with yourself, because the first few holidays as an empty nester or with some of your family gone, they may be a little bit more difficult as you think of the different memories you have, and be so grateful for those memories. But then it's okay to miss the past, but then embrace the freedom of what the present looks like. So let's talk about some ideas for some new empty nest traditions. The first ideas we're going to look at have to do with adventure and travel. And maybe if everybody's going to be gone, especially for several days, maybe you and your husband, you plan a trip. You go to the beach. I know we like to go to the beach in the wintertime because, especially if you're somewhere in the South, Florida, for example, the temperatures are still fairly warm and you can go take walks on the beach. You can bundle up in a chair and sit there and read the book. Or maybe you want to go to a cabin in the mountains. But feel free, now that you're not tied to school schedules, to college schedules, to make some time for yourselves and take a little trip either on the actual holiday or around the holidays, again, especially if those that you would normally celebrate with aren't going to be around. And secondly, maybe celebrate your personal Christmas on a different day. No, again, I'm not just talking about here with the family. Maybe your family's around and y'all are going to celebrate together on Thanksgiving Day or on Christmas Day. But maybe choose a second day for yourself, or again, for you and your spouse, to do something special just for the two of you to mark the holiday. Maybe you have a date day. Take a little road trip just locally, or have maybe a special dinner out on a night around the holidays. And then maybe you could be a tourist in your own town. I know they talk about doing this at different times of year, but maybe we don't talk about it so much around the holidays. But maybe book a night at a nice hotel near you downtown, maybe an area you don't go to as much, and then explore your city. Go see what kind of light displays they have there, or go to a local holiday concert. But I know we do this on Christmas Eve. Now, we have done this with our children for many years, but we're going to continue to do it. We go out on Christmas Eve. We go to downtown Charleston. We live outside of Charleston, South Carolina, and we find a dessert restaurant that's open late. We'll go get dessert, and then we'll just walk around. There's a very nice hotel a couple of blocks from the dessert place, and we will just walk through there, see the light displays, and that's a really fun something to do, even if it's just the two of you somewhere around the holidays. And maybe you want to have a night in. You could do this, again, you could do this at a hotel. You could do that at your own home, though. But just put on your Christmas pajamas, get a Christmas movie that you're going to watch. Again, maybe you've ordered some takeout food, and you just sit there and enjoy a few hours together, just the two of you celebrating the holiday. Then let's talk about some traditions that revolve around having a purpose or giving back. And these are wonderful things to do. Again, these are things you may have done with your children, but if not, certainly new traditions to start for yourself or for you and your spouse. And maybe you want to dedicate the morning of the holiday, or even if it's Christmas, for example, maybe on Christmas Eve, to volunteer at a food bank or a soup kitchen or an animal shelter, and just do things. It helps shift your focus outward instead of inward, and thinking about maybe the things you're missing, again, with your children or the family things that you used to do. And it gives the day a deeper sense of meaning. You could also adopt a family or adopt a senior. Some elder care places maybe have opportunities where you could take gifts to some of the people there, maybe who don't have family coming to visit them regularly. Or you've probably seen the angel trees where you can adopt a family and buy gifts for children or for adults who don't have a lot. And again, that makes your shopping and the wrapping of gifts, that kind of gives a point to it as you're thinking about those that you're helping. Again, turning your focus outward. Then this one, it's called a spare parts dinner, but that's just where you invite friends, neighbors, maybe those in your church, people who don't have family around, whether that could be widows, widowers, or even maybe young college kids or someone in the military that don't have family close by and can't get home to family for the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever it is. Invite them to spend part of their day with you, or again, the day before, the day after the holiday, to make something a little special for them. You could also make a kindness jar or a gratitude practice. This is good around Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, any time of that when we're kind of reflecting anyway. But just throughout that month, write down on a little slip of paper, a 3x5 card, either something that you did for someone else or something that someone else did for you or that you witnessed others doing for someone. And then just collect them in a little box in a jar. And then when the holiday comes, read those out loud and just be encouraged by those little kindnesses and those little things to be thankful for. And then let's talk about some intimacy and connection traditions. And this is a fun one for a couple. Choose a holiday dish that you haven't made before. You can go online, maybe there's a specific cuisine you like or a chef you like, and find a recipe, and then take a night where you and your spouse together turn on some Christmas music or some holiday music, and you make that meal together and then enjoy it once you've made it. That could be a dessert or a whole meal if you'd like. Then an annual ornament exchange, and the idea here is you and your spouse, you go shopping for a Christmas ornament tied to maybe a trip you took the past year or an event. Maybe it was like your 25th anniversary, or you want to put a date on it. Or maybe there's an inside joke that you've had over the last year, and get an ornament to kind of represent that, and then exchange those ornaments. That would be a fun thing to do. There could be our favorite things gift exchange, and I really like that one. So you think of some favorite things of your spouse. Maybe they love to read, so you get them a book by their favorite author. Maybe they're a big coffee aficionado, and so maybe they normally buy a certain type of coffee, and you buy them a nicer type of coffee, something that they maybe wouldn't buy for themselves. And it doesn't have to be expensive, but you think of maybe 2, 3, 4 things that your spouse really likes, some of their favorite things, and then just buy them a nicer version of that and make that your Christmas, and open those together at a time that's special to you. And then maybe make a day after tradition. And maybe again, if you do have everybody together on the holiday, then take the day after and make that a special day for the two of you. Maybe you go to a spa, maybe you take a hike, maybe you have a card game tournament or something, and you could even invite friends to that. But do something to celebrate the day after the holiday, especially if there's been a lot going on and you want to have some time together for just the two of you. So we do have a lot of flexibility. That is the gift of the empty nest. So let's enjoy that. Let's release the pressure to have to keep things looking exactly the way they have before, and just be comfortable and content with, as we talked about earlier, the new normal and how things are going to look now. So let's intentionally create a beautiful holiday season this year and in the years to come as we begin to plan. Again, things are going to change. Maybe you add new members to the family, maybe you add grandchildren, but just be open to change in this season, and really praying and turning your expectations over to the Lord and asking Him to just give you a sweet attitude as we celebrate the holidays. So I hope you will like the video. You can share it with others, and certainly subscribe if you'd like to know when new videos come out. And then let me know in the comments which new empty nest tradition that you would like to start this year. And whenever you celebrate, I do hope you have a wonderful holidays. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.